What is up, y'all? I just wanted to thank the 100 of you guys that subscribed within this last week. I've never seen growth like that on my channel yet, so seeing that much interest in what I'm doing is really exciting to me. It's very humbling as well. So I really respect the fact that you guys took the time to choose to subscribe and follow to me. I listen to my audience members, and if you guys have suggestions or topics that you want me to talk about, leave them in the comments below. If I feel like I have the knowledge and the know-how to talk about it, I'll make a video. If not, I'll send you information to other YouTube channels or other places where you can get the information from. Okay, so I want to first talk about my philosophy on minimalism. I think this is important because it's gonna explain a lot of what I'm gonna talk about in the future. I'm a very minimalistic person. I don't find value in having a lot of things. I'd actually rather invest in a few high quality things that I know bring value into my life. The first phone that I actually ever bought brand new was my Google Pixel 3, but I actually bought it last year when they just announced the Pixel 4, so I was able to get it for half price. So my MacBook is my sister's old one, so I didn't actually pay for it. It still works really well, so I'm still using it. My camera, the one that I'm filming on right now, I traded my gaming PC for, and it's actually a camera from 2015, so it's 5 years old. My headphones are Sony noise canceling headphones, and I got them a couple years ago on Black Friday when they announced the new model, so I was able to get this one for $200 I think instead of $350. Something I did invest in was my Bluetooth speaker, which was about $100, but it's good because I use it for listening to music, and now I use it as a studio monitor for when I produce music. In my opinion, I don't think you need the greatest tech to make great art. You just need something to start with, storytelling, and your creativity. I used to shop a lot because I used to think it brought me happiness, but I changed my mind when I went to Europe for 2 months. So I was there for like 7 weeks. I went to 11 countries with just a backpack and my carry-on suitcase. When I was there, it made me realize how little I actually needed because I was so happy with whatever I had and I just made do, you know? And because my bag was already full, it discouraged me from shopping some more. It's Marie Kondo. She was right when she said that you need to get rid of things that don't bring you value, because once I got back to my house, I got rid of 80% of my closet and I immediately felt a lot freer, a lot lighter. I noticed this as well when I sold my car, because as I slowly removed things from my life, there was nothing tying me down anymore, you know? In general, my philosophy is care very deeply about the things that make you happy and don't put energy into other things. And for me, that's making videos, doing my music, cooking, and my friends. Every time bad things happen or news or politics, I just don't pay attention or put any energy into them because they don't do anything for me. Like, I know what makes me happy, and that, in my opinion, just drains energy, so I'd rather just do my own thing and focus on what I need to do, you know? If you ask my friends, they'll say how annoying it is that I always try to look for the bright side of situations, you know? Sometimes I get it, sometimes you just want to vent and complain. But in my opinion, when you complain, you're just putting that negative energy out there. That's not something that I personally want to do. I always try to avoid complaining because I think there's people that have it a lot worse than us, you know? This is the greatest skill I think that I've developed as an adult because it makes you really introspective and think about what are really the most important things in life. If you're into a more luxurious lifestyle, I don't quite have the information for that because that's just not the way I like to live. Sly's Life and How to Expat are both two really good channels that talk a lot about Colombia, specifically here in Medellin. So if you're curious about that and you want the more higher end lifestyle, I would check out their videos. It was really important for me just to try to live with the locals, get immersed into the culture so I can learn as much as possible. So let's talk about rent. So this is probably going to be the most expensive thing that you pay for here. In Medellin, they have this estrato system, which is essentially like the different levels of wealth. Depending on which estrato you're in, you get taxed differently, and it's this whole thing. I don't know too much about it. I just know them as the levels of wealth. So the higher neighborhoods would be estrato 6, but where I'm at right now, LAURELES-ESTADIO is around 4 and 5. I think it's like a mix of those. Laureles, I would definitely say, is a lot nicer or more expensive than where I'm at in Estadio. But personally, I like Estadio, the area, a lot better because it's next to the metro station. It's next to Satenta, which is pretty poppin'. There's a lot of bars and restaurants there. View from my place is freaking amazing. It's a fairly safe neighborhood considering, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. I'm next to the stadium and I love going there for walks or to work out. And now that I know the place, I know all the parks in the area, so I'm very familiar with the layout of the neighborhood. Some of the downsides of living here, one of it is that since it is a nicer area, the inhabitants are very friendly, and it's safe being around here, especially during the day. But at night, a lot of people come here looking to steal some things. So I don't think they'll break into your house, but you just got to be careful at night when you're walking around, especially on dark streets. That's how I got in trouble. That's how I got attacked. If you want to see a video of that, I'll talk about that right here, but I don't think that's representative of how it is here in Medellin. Also, it can get a little noisy sometimes at night, especially on the weekends when people are having parties. And personally, in the beginning, I think it was hard for me to adjust, but now I'm just kind of used to it, and I kind of like having that background noise. It makes me feel like the neighborhood is alive, right? And I like being a part of a neighborhood that has moving energy and that's alive, because an artist and someone who's very sensitive to energy, I feel like it definitely changes my mood and it motivates me to go work out too when everybody else is doing it. So I spend about $30 a week on groceries, and here in Medellin they have 3 different tiers of groceries. So you have your number 1, which is like Castillas, ¿cómo se llama esto? Es un supermercado pero con más verduras y comidas internacionales y Carulla esto, okay. The highest tier is Carulla, and that's like Whole Foods, so you can get there, you'll find a lot of international food, but it's a little more expensive. And then you have stores like Éxito and Jumbo. Éxito, they have smaller ones which remind me of Albertsons, and they have big ones that remind me of Target. And if you have Jumbo, Jumbo just reminds me of a Walmart. Lastly, you have Just Bueno and D1. So these ones are comparable to like Aldi, and those are the cheaper groceries. And that's where I tend to go when I buy my groceries. Like I said, I'm very simple. I don't need very brand name stuff. The things for food that I actually invest in are meat. D1 is where I get most of my stuff, and the corner store is where I get all my produce. It's a little more expensive, I guess, than the big supermarkets, but I think the quality is just better in my opinion. So for breakfast, I like to buy cereal, eggs, tomatoes, onions, potatoes, and an avocado. Eggs are super cheap here. They're like 30 for $4. So breakfast costs me around 3,500 pesos or around $1. I also like buying juice and frozen fruits in order for me to make smoothies. So I buy tons of onions, tomatoes, potatoes, and avocados, and that usually makes up most of my diet now, along with meat and other things that I like to add in there. Go to Calanda to get some butcher meat, which is a little more expensive, I guess, than frozen meat, but I think it's still worth it because for what you're getting, it's still cheaper than what you're getting in the States. Personally, I like to try to limit to my ordering to 3 times a week. I think this is a good balance for me. Most times I'll go over maybe 4 or 5, but last week because I got attacked, I was just in the house and I ordered food like 7 times that week, but I thought that was an extraneous circumstance. Also, I like eating at this corner restaurant. It's typical Colombian food. It's around 10 mil. It's actually 8,500 mil, but I like to tip them because they always take care of me, so I just give them 10 mil. The thing is, I love the food. It's just never that filling. It feels like more like a large snack instead of a meal. Whereas when I order on Rappi, it's almost always like a full meal. When I order Rappi, I like to get Korean food, wings, burgers, and burritos, because these are things that either I cannot make myself or I can, but they take a lot of work. For Korean food, there's 2 Korean restaurants here. One's called Korea House and one's called OPPA. Korea House, I think their meat's a little better and their kimchi is way good and they sell it separately. But OPPA, I know the owner, Brandon, is super cool. They give bigger portions, and when you eat there, the rice is unlimited and the side dishes too, which I love. When it comes to wings, there's a restaurant around the corner when on Mondays and Tuesdays they sell wings for 1 meal per, which is like 33 cents, if that, 30 cents. But they're not as good. I would rate them right like a 6.7 out of 10. And the other place I like to order from is called DELI Wings. It's a little more expensive. It comes out to 2 mil per wing. The flavor is just better and they just taste way, way good. Let me show you. The things you guys make me do for these videos. And I didn't want to order food today, but you know, in order to make this video, I had to do it. Okay, these are my favorite wings here in Colombia. When it comes to burritos, I order from 2 places. There's Taco House, which is a lot like Chipotle, so you get a little more food, just the flavor's not quite as good. And then you have Barrita Burrito, which I really like because it reminds me of like a Pollo Loco burritos. The tortilla is good, the meat's good, you can pick what goes inside, and of course guac is always free here. Lastly, let's talk about burgers. For some reason, hamburgers are like the biggest deal here. And I've had a few hamburgers on the streets, and those are pretty good. But my favorite is going to this restaurant at the corner. I think it's called like Chorizo something, Salero, something like that. And I remember as soon as I bit into it, it was so freaking good, bro. Like I couldn't. It was one of the best burgers I've ever had. Just the way they cook it and the sausage they use is really good. So for that, I'll pay 18 mil. But you can get a burger on the street for like 10 mil. So for desserts, we're gonna talk to my roommate about it.
Uy, yo pedí para ti también. Compartimos.
No. Well, this one, I ordered a banana with the chocolate chips. Dude, I don't know how to describe it. It's like crunchy like a cookie, but it's a lot softer than that, almost like sugar.
And then it's got these bananas and this custard and the chocolate chips on top. It's just like fucking crack, I swear to God. ¿Qué piensas sobre esto?
Que es una maravilla.
¿Qué piensas sobre las dulces aquí? Los dulces aquí.
Los dulces, que hay gran variedad. Bocadillo,
Sí, me gusta. ¿Qué es tu favorito? ¿Torta? No.
tortas.
¿Mm?
Sí, tortas, pero entonces hay tortas de leches, tortas de dulces, de frutas,
Okay.
de verduras también.
¿Tortas de verduras
Sí,
como zanahoria?
como la torta de zanahoria, torta de banano, la panela,
También la arequipa.
el arequipe. Cuando tú estás pequeño, digamos, practicas ejercicio o algo, los papás te dan un pedacito de panela para que te...
Para motivar. Okay.
Sí, para activar la energía.
Sometimes also I like to make soup, so I'll have all these ingredients and I'll put it in, and the soup is really nice because it will be able to feed me for like 3 days and it only costs about 20 mil, so I think that's super worth it. If we were to add everything up, it comes out to around $183 for rent, $120 for groceries, and around $80 to $100 for delivered food. I have some miscellaneous expenses here and there, like if I want to buy some weed, but that's no more than like $10 a month. I don't really drink and I don't really go out now, so most of my expenses go there. Also, I bought a chair, a desk, and a lamp for myself because those were important things to me for when it came to my workstation. I really wanted to invest in that, but I won't really include that into my price because I think that's just like a separate thing. Overall, I'm really happy with my experience here. I love my roommates. I like the room. I think it's a perfect size. I love my view. And it pretty much does everything I need to do right now while I'm focusing on YouTube. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you got some value out of this. Remember, if you guys have any topics that you want me to talk about, put it in the comments below. Other than that, peace out. Hope you guys have a good day.